So, welcome back to the Fixing Football Podcast Extra. I'm Martin Naylor and I'm here with Will, our Preston North End fan for today. And we're going to be previewing Preston's season, everything that's going on in the Championship and everything that's going on with the club right now. First of all, Will, how are you, mate? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. I'm well. Excited for the new season. Kind of seeing teams in Scotland and League One and League Two in the EFL kick off their seasons last weekend. I'm getting pretty excited for the opening weekend.
So fill me in about yourself then and your history with Preston and you as a fan and the club.
Yeah, I think we're both originally from the Northwest, right? So
yep.
Your choice of clubs is as long as your arm, right? So
it's dominated by one at first, and then you sort of branching.
yeah. So I think as a kid, I think you naturally want to kind of support one of the big ones, etc., etc. But then you realise actually I can never really get to games. I'm not really that interested, and I'm not really from that area. So considering I had a Preston postcode, I thought the choice was only obvious, even though I would have had my choice of so many.
Yeah, I mean, my dad was a Man United fan, and we lived a stone's throw away from the Reebok, and the temptations was there. And I grew up loving Michael Owen, but I was a bit of a free agent when it comes to choosing a football club. So, when it was always Arsenal v United, that was the one that dominated the house for a day or two, and I just went the other way to my dad, and that was it. And it just stuck. Sometimes it just sticks. I did try. I said to Liam, I was trying with Bolton, just because a load of my mates supported them. Our school was right behind the stadium, and there's so much affinity with the club, but it just doesn't happen. Sometimes the club's just doesn't pick the right club for you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like I say, I could have easily chosen a Bolton, a Wigan, or a Blackburn because they were all in the Premiership. But yeah, I don't know. Do I like the underdog?
Maybe it's that.
Maybe so. But I've got quite a lot of friends who support Blackburn, so when we play them every year, it's a good day out.
WhatsApp's a bit of a laugh when it's Derby Day, and I get 15 messages a week of someone else who've done Arsenal all over. So, talk to me about last season then. In fact, actually, I was at Preston last season. It's the Carabao Cup game early in the year. It was,
you did a job on us.
We had
you really did a job on us.
Ethan Ranieri inspired performance.
I don't know how old he was then, just barely out of nappies. He scored that worldy goal, top left-hand corner on his left foot, just out of nowhere. And I remember saying to people around me, thinking, "Oh, we might have a chance of getting this lad on loan, maybe." And then I don't know, a week or two after, I'm watching Match of the Day, and he's playing first team for Arsenal in the Premier League. So I thought, right, that's absolutely no chance.
I think that was right around the time of Ødegaard's injury, and it was just perfect storm for him to come in. I mean, he's just about to turn 18, and
which is just scary.
It's crazy. It's such a wild thing. The debate about too much too soon and if you're old enough or you're good enough, I think is a day for another topic. A full episode. We'll get.
Yeah. Happy to do that.
Lamine Yamal's ruined it for everyone. I think he's it's a wild word out there. So sorry, I interrupted Preston. Yeah, and what's about the story of the summer as well? So how last season has finished and how your summer's gone?
Yeah, so last season was pretty frustrating, and I'll go into the story of the summer after. Of course, we went into last season with Ryan Lowe. And he was backed as well in last summer. We had players renewing contracts last summer, and you start to think, okay, maybe it could be the season under Lowe. A day or two after our opening day defeat against Sheffield United, which is no embarrassment because they made the playoffs. I think they got over 90 points as well. We only got beat 2-0. He walks, basically saying, I've took the club as far as I can take it. I don't get the buzz anymore on a Saturday. I love the training. I love going in the training. I love the day-to-day. But as soon as Saturday comes along, I'm not enjoying it anymore. So incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
Fast forward maybe 2 weeks, a couple of weeks after that, we get Paul Heckingbottom and Stuart McCall. And Stuart McCall is important there because of the experience that he has as a manager and as an assistant and as a player.
Yeah.
And steadied the ship, but it felt like it wasn't enough. We would create chances, we wouldn't be clinical, and 9 times out of 10, when the opposition had their first attack on goal, they would then score.
Yeah.
And we'll be chasing games an awful lot. It's not his team, and it wasn't his team, Heckingbottom. So incredibly frustrating. And the defence was a real worry.
Yeah.
And I think we drew the most games in the division. So I think it was either 20 or 20 plus games in the division. And if you're doing that, you're only going to go one way. Luckily, we avoided relegation on the last day of the season, drawing 2-2 at Bristol City. But I sit here thinking, if there was another 5 games left of the season, because of our poor form and because of others picking up form, like Hull, Plymouth, I am convinced that we would have gone down.
Wow.
So incredibly frustrating. I'll dart over to the story of the summer.
Yeah.
So 9, as things stand, unless anything changes before Saturday, 9 players in. So 9 new players. And
who's the pick of the bunch there?
Yeah, so in key positions, so goalkeeper and wing back. So
cool.
What Lowe did last year's season, he played 3-5-2, and I think Heckingbottom is going to continue that. He did that at Sheffield United.
Yeah.
The kind of the pick outs there will probably be Daniel Everson. So we got on a free from Leicester City. A 4-year deal. He was our player of the season a couple of years ago when we had him on loan. Arguably, I mean, shot stopper, is it even a thing? But yeah, you throw him into that category. Not to do like a Roy Keane, but that's his job, right? But he's incredible at just making the goal look really tiny.
4-year deals quite it's rare at Championship and lower. It's not really a common thing.
Yeah, and I think that's probably been the biggest surprise and pleasing thing this summer regarding the transfers is the fact that we've now got a number 1 for 4 years who's proven at our club and at that level, and kind of your defence and wing back. So Thierry Small, 4-year deal, essentially on a free from Charlton Athletic, who can play on either side but predominantly left-footed, has just everything a modern day fullback needs.
Important fullbacks these days as well, especially if you get them flying.
Yeah, and if you're playing a 3-5-2, you have to. And I don't know, ever since when Lowe came in, when we flipped to a 3-5-2, we've just had loans mainly and players playing out of position at fullback positions. So nothing that can really you can see a future with. So whether it was Brad Potts, Alan Brown going in at fullback positions, or the loan signing of Alvaro Fernandez, who now has just gone off to be a Galactico in Madrid.
Yeah,
the long-term goal just didn't seem to be there. Now we are signing fullbacks on long contracts that are ticking an awful lot of boxes. Small, we saw him play against us in the FA Cup. I think it was the second round at Deepdale. He played on the left side and he tore us to shreds.
Really? Right. Okay.
And so that got everyone in the stadium thinking, "Oh, this guy's, a little bit special." And then we go and sign him. So 9 players in, story of the summer, in key positions, which is great. It's what Heckingbottom wants. I suppose it'd be odd of me not to mention the whole Spud Bros sponsoring the club as a story of the summer, which is,
I love that.
Yeah, I like it as well. If you just rip it all back, it's essentially, it was a family, 2 lads selling potatoes out of a van.
Yeah.
And now they're sponsoring their home team. That's pretty good.
It's a throwback. I mean, as comical as the artwork or the name or the whatever, even the brand itself. But that might all be almost jokey, but this is sort of what you want. You want the local company getting behind the club and stuff like that. I'm a big fan of that, and they've done well for themselves.
Oh goodness me! So I had no idea that they'd gone down south with it. So I think they've got a store or a shop in Harrods.
Yeah,
which is, again, strip it back. It's lads from Preston selling potatoes, and now they're in the capital doing really, really well. I've got a mate who's a Southampton fan who quizzed me about a month ago, saying, "Oh, I was looking at some data, and it was like, who's got the most followers on social media and on Instagram?" And I went, "I don't know. Is it you guys? Is it Leicester? Is it Sheffield United? Whatever?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's us." And he said, "Who's got the worst?" And I went, "I'm getting a theme here, Joe. Is it Preston by any chance?" And he goes, "Yeah." So, not that I really care, but it would be nice the fact that, Spud Bros and also performances on the pitch increase. I don't know, investment, interest, revenue into the club. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, those a couple of things are kind of the story of the summer.
That sort of leads me on nicely to if there's anything left you think to do while the transfer window's open during the start.
Yeah, I think so. Like most teams, and just as a little extra on the story of the summer, teams are spending big on wages and transfers, right? So I think Derby are having a real good go at it this season, spending millions on players and on wages. Birmingham, Wrexham, Charlton have come up, and I think I read somewhere that they might have spent £10 million, which is ridiculous for a newly promoted team. And of course, Ipswich, I think, have just signed Chuba Akpom from Ajax. Again, ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like all of those other teams, we're no different. So yeah, business is left certainly to do. From a fan point of view, we all think that, and it's great that Heckingbottom also sees that. And he's a South Yorkshireman. He's incredibly honest, and a spade's a spade, which is quite nice.
When he came up with Sheffield United last time to the Premier League, right? I liked what he did and the way they came up, but I didn't see it translate into the Premier League, and I called it quit. I think he was the first manager sacked that season, and you could just see it was never going to. They rested on the laurels a little bit. You've just got to keep evolving, and hopefully he's taken that on board. It seems like he has with the amount of transfers in and stuff. What are your thoughts on this sort of a side note? But thoughts on Birmingham and Wrexham? Obviously, big clubs in their own right. They've got their own Hollywood background thing going on, and that obviously that little mini rivalry they've created from coming up from League One, and they're also spending the money, and looks like they want to be here to stay. What are your thoughts on that as someone press like the Championship's longest serving resident at the moment?
Yeah, it all comes down to jealousy. I'll be honest.
This is the same with Liam. He won't admit it, but whenever I bring up Wrexham, he just goes, "Oh."
Well, the amount of times when the ownerships changed at Birmingham and Wrexham, I got into conversations with my friends who also support EFL clubs, and I had to just take myself away from it and just say, actually, what does it all stem down to? It all stems down to jealousy. Listen, it's great for them. If I'm a fan, I'm getting so excited with it. I wish it would happen to us. I take my hat off to them. It does make me laugh, though. I've just started watching the Birmingham City documentary on Amazon Prime.
I've seen a few clips there,
and I think it is so different to the Wrexham one. So in the Wrexham one, I think they edit it so well that you are really rooting for them.
Yeah.
Even though it's easy to not to do that. Whereas the Birmingham one, they give it this whole big spiel about kind of feel sorry for us. I'm not feeling sorry for you, because in the last 20 years you've won the League Cup. You've been in Europe, and you've been in the Premier League a fair few times. I'm not feeling sorry for you. And it was just a Tom Brady and Wagner show. So yeah, I take my hat off to them.
I suppose that's got to be right as well. If they want to branch out, it's got to be a little bit in the same with what they did with the Wrexham shows. It has to be a lot about the famous people. So to bring more people involved, what's Ryan Reynolds up to? Oh, what's Tom Brady up to? That brings in them people for them. I get it. It's a little bit icky, But I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
hate it. He's just one of them. So tell me about them, Preston. Your thoughts on the club where you are at now. Just your thoughts
Yeah.
on the club as a whole in whatever facet you sort of take that question.
Yeah, it's a real mixture of kind of like happiness and content, I suppose.
Yeah.
Peter Ridsdale gets some stick still from our fans and other fans. So God, it
Why?
bleeds.
Why is that?
I
Spend
think,
more, do more,
yeah,
stuff like
this
that.
whole because as fans, you always want to spend more, right? And you always want to sign
Of
better
course.
players. And who's the person that says? Who's the person that comes out in the press and says no? We can't do that because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's the face of the ownership. So the Hemmings family, he is the face. So 9 times out of 10, when you see Peter Ridsdale on your computer, it is him to say not negative things, but to say we can't do this because of this. However,
Yeah,
we're looking at other avenues,
absolutely.
and that other avenues bit is fine for me. Most fans know what we are, but some fans can be a little bit deluded. I think his communications is spot on. Listen, he doesn't do a lot of it, but he does maybe like quarterly updates with BBC Radio Lancashire, for example. And those are good 20, 30, 35 minutes of pretty insightful things. And credit to the local media and for him to do that. So in that sense, quite happy, quite content because of that. I think fan engagement has increased this season, which has been great. So people like Ridsdale, people like Ridsdale and others, I think, are listening to the fans. So there's a new bit of wall art and spray paint, kind of. I think it's a mural outside the ground now, which just makes it a bit.
It does
more
make a big difference. Yeah. Like Liam was saying this about Bolton, about just the place around the stadium just needs a bit of a facelift. It needs a little bit more engagement. You know, people just getting involved, and even them little things, they go a long way with especially the match going fan, the ones who are putting the money in.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. So that's a local artist doing, trying to help the club. So and as fans, we've expressed that either kind of communicating to the club directly or via social media. Season ticket prices still remain low, so I think it's one of the cheapest in the division.
Yeah,
you know, you look at I'm in Leeds right now, and you look down the road in Sheffield, and I think Sheffield United and particularly Sheffield Wednesday season tickets are astronomical. We're signing contracted players, as stated before, in key positions. That they're ours not just for 1 or 2 seasons, but for 3+. We're actually putting in offers now. So on those players I mentioned before, work started on that in January and November time, apparently, with Thierry Small. But last week we put in a £3 million bid in for Richard Kone, the Wycombe Wanderers striker. It's got rejected, and how, first bids very rarely get accepted, right?
Yeah, unless they're daft,
unless they're silly. That's then led Swansea to put in a £4.5 million bid in, which has also got rejected because Wycombe want £5 million. But we're putting in offers. If that got accepted, that would be the record signing.
I agree. It's important to at least you've got to be seen to be in them conversations. You've got to be making headway. You've got to have your name out there, because, maybe the first 2-3 names out there, they don't work. When you look at Newcastle now, I'm sure Newcastle end up with a load of signings towards the end of the window, but their name has constantly been out there, and you've got to be in the conversation. It keeps fans engaged. I know, as an Arsenal fan, we had a thing where whenever it was season ticket renewal, that would when the Mesut Ozil signing would be announced, or the new Alexis Sanchez contract or something would be around the time of the stuff like that, to keep fans involved. It just happens.
Oh, totally. So we're putting in offers, and I think there's a bit of annoyance that more money can't be spent because the Hemmings family is extremely wealthy. But I completely understand it. Again, I'm one of those ones where, you know what, I do look at Bury, you look at Morecambe and think it could be really, really bad. So yeah, I'm grateful for the money that's been pumped in, because they lose millions a year.
I like that.
But I'm extremely happy and content with.
I love that. I expected. I'm going to say I expected the opposite, that you would be demanding of more. But I think you are in the majority in what a lot of fans think, in terms of, we're happy. There's progress. There's stuff happening. There's just some movement, and people who care about our club are running the club and they're trying to do the right things at least. Sometimes it don't go well on the pitch. A lot of the time it doesn't go well on the pitch, let's face it, for most clubs. But at least you need to see something happening, and there's people around you who care about the improvement, as minor as it might be at times, but that's got to be out there. Tell me about the star man at Preston right now. Who, for me, the Preston North End novice, who is the man who I should be looking out for?
Yeah, so it says a lot about how badly we performed last season when essentially all my star men include our latest signings.
That's fair.
So I mentioned Thierry Small. So attacking wing back from Charlton. I've only seen him a couple of times in pre-season, and it was against Liverpool, and he was very, very good. Right-sided centre-half, Adela Fire, who, if you know your rugby league, is a relative to the ex-Wigan Warriors player, Afire.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I was told that by my sister's boyfriend, who is a Wigan fan. So I took that as gospel because they would never lie about Wigan or rugby league. So Adela Fire, he was on loan at Blackpool last season and can play. I think he's going to play right side of the three. The amount of times I've seen Rolls Royce before and after his name. So I think he will develop to be an incredible championship defender. Can pass. He's got pace because we really lack pace. I've mentioned Daniel Everson again. He's won our Player of the Year a couple of years ago when he was on loan, and I'm also going to throw in Lewis Gibson. So we signed him from January from Plymouth, left-footed centre half, which is pretty rare, and he can pass a ball as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sounds like defensively solid is the start here.
It's Heckingbottom and it's Preston North End in the Championship. Kind of, I expect nothing less.
So what about ones to watch then? Who's someone who maybe the majority of people don't know about, who you might tip to be having maybe their breakout season, a standout season, just someone who you've got your eye on? Is there anyone around who you think at the moment?
Yeah, I think too. So we've got an Icelandic midfielder called Stefan Thordarson, who we signed from a Danish team last season for just under £1 million, I think. So it was his first season in England. He plays for Iceland. He can do a bit of everything in that midfield, right? So he can sit deep, he can pass the ball. He had a particularly strong game, I think, against Aston Villa in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup. So I think people saw a little bit of that, but he had a couple of mistakes in him as well. Because it was his first season in England. He's quite tall, and he's got an engine on him. So I'm tipping him to have a strong second season in the Championship. And then also we've signed Daniel Jebison on loan from Bournemouth, who I think played about 15 games for Bournemouth in the Premier League last season.
Yeah, rings a bell.
And he worked with Heckingbottom at Sheffield United. We're going to be playing two up front. Our current striker, Osmajic, I think can play better with an extra person next to him. He's strong, he's pacey. And one thing I love about strikers is as soon as they get it out the feet, they want to have a shot.
Yeah.
So we had Cameron Archer a couple of seasons ago who could do that.
Yeah.
And I'm tipping Jebison to be better than he was last season when he was on loan at Watford.
That's all you can ask.
Yeah.
So the whole point of this podcast is to fix stuff. Is to pick up on them things, whether it be about your club, whether it be about the game in general. But if you were given the command, if you was CEO for the day, the week, what would you fix? What would be your? And it doesn't have to be necessarily on the pitch stuff. This is you, Will, the Preston North End fan, fixing Preston. Where do you start?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question, that, because I don't know, what would I fix? Because fix implies something is broken, right? And I don't necessarily think anything is broken. However, I probably have some suggestions in that areas that we should improve in. So I mentioned the Hemmings family and ownership, and we touched on the ownerships at Wrexham and at Birmingham. I think it's made quite public that they won't be around forever. So Trevor Hemmings used to put all the money into the club and did so for years. He passed away a few years ago. And essentially his son and grandson and family now work together as a bit of a team. But you get the sense, and I think they've made it clear in the press, that if a suitable offer comes in, we're going to be all ears, because long term I don't think it's for us. However, they still continue to put the money in.
Yeah.
So in that sense, when you look at other ownerships, I would say thing to improve: speed up the ownership change. As much as I like Peter Ridsdale and what he does in comms terms, I don't know how hard he's working to kind of put out the fishing rod and look for nibbles regarding ownership and investment.
Yeah.
So I would speed up the ownership change and look to do that sooner rather than later. I would invest, I don't know if it's funds or just skills and expertise in improving the stadium atmosphere. Because it is, I think it's got worse. So back in the day, in the mid-noughties, Deepdale used to be almost full all the time. And I don't know if it just meant more back then because we were better. I don't know. I would invest in skills and what have you in improving the stadium atmosphere.
It's so important getting that fan engagement. If you've got a rocking stadium, it's such a difference. It's a big draw as well. I wonder if the ownership would look at that as something that was like a new ownership, was something that they could, like a low-hanging fruit almost, to be like, oh, we can get this done.
Yeah, I think so. And maybe a way of doing that is maybe not giving the away end, maybe not giving the away fans the full away end. So at the moment they get the full Bill Shankly Cop.
I was going to say, there was about 3,500 of Arsenal fans there that night.
And it was great for you guys, right?
Yeah, it was really
when we couldn't get a kick in, and it's thinking, oh, that's a bit rubbish. However, on the flip side, when a Bolton, a Blackburn come to town and the Sheffield teams, it does create a bit of a grit.
Yeah.
However, I think Burnley do it, and to much of my annoyance as an away fan, it would be. I would probably do that, but invest more in improving stadium atmosphere, and the ownership would probably be something that I would fix/improve.
Totally fair. Lastly, expectations then for the season.
Yeah, simply just be closer to the top 6 if possible. Which I don't
expecting
know.
A playoff challenge, is that what I was looking at?
I think all North End fans expect that. Yeah, whether we'll get it or not. I think teams coming up from League One look strong. The league is getting competitive every season. A playoff push, great. Get closer to the top 6, great. However, I would be happy with anywhere between 8th and 12th.
Fair. I like that. It's like realistic as well. It's like it's not like we're gonna. This is our season. This is our year. It's not that one.
Yeah. I know. I get that.
Well, thank you very much for your time, mate. I've really enjoyed the chat.
No worries at all.
Thank you everyone for listening. You can catch the links to this and any future or previous episodes on our social media handles. It's at Fixing Football on X, and it's at Fixing Football Podcast on Instagram. Website's down at the moment. I'm swapping it around, so we're having a bit. The .com is broken right now. Will, once again, mate, thank you very much, and we'll catch up with you again through the season, I'm sure.
My pleasure. See you later.
Thanks, everyone. Peace.